Fast Life Design is officially here. Pick yours up today at fastflowkc.com in multiple different colors, only for a limited time. Also, just wanted to say thank you guys so much for 100,000 subscribers. It's been a wild ride, and we don't plan on slowing down anytime soon. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, as this one is pretty long overdue. What is good, YouTube? In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of owning an S1000rr and pretty much what I think about this bike overall, and we're going to compare it to pretty much every other 1000cc on the market. Now, I've been riding for a long time, and within that time, I've had countless opportunities to ride tons of different sport bikes. So we're going to compare this bike to pretty much every bike in its category. The R1s, the V4s, the Gixxers, you name it, the ZX10s. We're going to stack what this bike is like compared to all them boys. But before we get into all the juiciness with the S1K, I do want to show off the bike. If you are a stranger to the channel, this is my 2023 S1000rr. It has an SE Project exhaust on it, full titanium. The headers are completely custom. There's some nice aesthetic mods here and there, like the winglet mirrors. We got the 60th anniversary badges, super nice. This bike is flashed as well. No sprint filter, no stacks or any of that, but it is flashed by Brentoon on the Stage 1. I've also owned tons of different S1000s, from the older gens to the newer gens. I've put about 3,000 miles on this bike, so I feel like I can make an informed decision, because even before I did own this bike, I was riding these all the time. We're going to discuss everything else on the bike. Let's hop on the R, and let's go for a cruise before the sun goes down. I really don't even know where I'm at. I kind of just stopped and pulled off to the side, but we're going to find our way to the highway. I'm pretty sure that's the highway I need. If you also have not been following along with the series or the Instagram, you probably won't know I'm selling this bike or getting rid of it. You know, it's pretty crazy to think I've only had this bike for a few months, and we've already put a couple thousand miles on it, and we're already getting rid of it. But it is for a good reason, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. I also want to say, too, before we get too far into the video, that as much as I love the S1000, and I've had so many, it's been my go-to bike for pretty much every new bike that I get, it still isn't like the funnest bike to me. And I know that might sound weird. The S1000 is not the funnest bike. Why do you get it every time? There's just something about this bike. It ain't the sound, man. Oh my gosh, it sounds so good though. We got the hot air balloon. Bro's enjoying a nice ass day. The reason I never purchased an R1, which is in my opinion the funnest bike, was just because they do have problems when you do long woolies on the bike. Pretty well known that they don't like long woolies. Damn, they like just took off. That's crazy. Hi! Whoa! My number one reasoning on why I think the R1 is the funnest bike is just because of the pure amount of raw power. It's similar to the Aprilia RS V4, where it's just a lot of low-end torque. I mean, third gear, 120, you just punch it at low RPMs, and the bike comes right up. It's a rowdy bike. It's the rider's bike. The ergonomics on that bike feels absolutely insane, too. Like, you just want a corner with it. It feels insane. But you compare it back to the S1000, and the S1000 is just more well-rounded. The new ones have gained a lot more of that low-end torque, so it allows me to power wheelie all over the place, just like the R1 has. It's catching up. It's just a lot more smooth and refined, though, in pretty much every aspect. The cruising on this bike is great. And don't get me wrong, the cruising isn't bad on the R1, it's just not ideal, like it is on the S1000. And then you jump over to the V4, and it's hard to even cruise that bike, period, under 20 miles per hour. Hey, then we stack the bikes up, pure power. The R1 just lacks a ton of power, so immediately off the list when it comes to top end. And the V4 is super fast, but unless it's an R, it's not touching a double R in that top end with a full tune, bolt-ons, everything. Let me retract that and say not touch. The race would be close, but the double R is definitely going to come out on top. I've seen it every time. So I'm comparing the R1 and the V4s mainly because the R1, again, it's my funnest opinion bike, and the V4 is like my favorite aesthetic bike. So I like the R1 more just because it's a fun, great bike. It's a blast of fun. And the V4, it just looks amazing. But yet I'm still on an S1000 every time. So it's faster. It cruises better. It's starting to pick up the mid-range, just like the R1. We'll say the Gixxers and ZX10s too, they're great bikes overall too. Every bike has its problems. which we're gonna get to in just a minute about the S1000 problems. I am just not crazy about the ZX10. I felt like for so long it took them to update the dash. The quick shifter is so choppy. It literally almost throws me off the bike when I'm shifting. It feels gross, and I'm sure with the tune, it fixes that shit. And the Gixxers, I've just never been crazy for either. I mean, I think the Gixxers are great bikes. They based a lot of the old generation S1000s off the older gen Suzuki, so, but again, just not crazy about them. So I picked up this bike about 3,000 miles ago. I've taken quite a few trips with this new RR, put 3,000, close to 4,000 miles on this bike, and I haven't really had to do anything yet. I have a lot of friends who have the RRs, and their experience is completely different though. This bike is a nightmare for some people, and it's the fucking Iron Giant for others. It truly is a hit or miss bike. I have homies in the Discord who's had an awful experience with their brand new S1000s. In and out of the shop all the time, water pumps, $900 to $1,500 fixes, and just the amount of downtime too of just not riding the bike. But then here this bike is, 7K miles in, and we're chilling. Nothing yet. Nothing yet, like I said. We'll see what happens. But we will be getting rid of this bike within probably the next 1,500 miles, so I'm so excited for the new one. Oh my gosh. I'm trying so hard to keep it a secret, but it's hard. So basically talking about the ownership of this bike, when it comes to maintenance, it's been nothing. Done my oil change, and it's been good to me. So just general maintenance. It's the same thing with my last S1000. It gave me no problems, but I did ride that bike for 35,000 miles compared to 3,000 miles, so there's a world of difference right there. I always take really good care of my bikes though. Like, I do oil changes way before the book calls it. I think the book calls it for like 3 to 3,500, and I always do it like every 1,500. Just the way I ride, I know I'll be completely fine even if I don't change it to like 3 or 3,500. Well, you would think you'd be, you know, but I still do it. I still make sure. It's reassurance, it's peace of mind. It's like, okay, well, if the bike fails, I know I did what I could, you know, for the way I was riding. So same thing with the old S1000. When I did track days, changed the oil right after a hard track day. This bike has been great to me, I will say that. It's unfortunate what happens with some of these other S1000s, like the homie Rocket, S1K Rocket, for example. His bike has just been giving him constant problems, and it's to the point now where they think his motor's gone, but I don't know. He's been dealing with a lot of problems. The bike's been in and out of the shop 24/7. It's just, he's had a kind of a nightmare with his bike, but you know, every time I talk to him, he always goes back to talking about how much he loves the S1000. It's such a phenomenal bike. When you get a good one, I will say that. You know, I've never had a bad one. I've had 3 S1000s now. I've owned 3 S1000s. The first S1000 I had was a 2011. I had to do a water pump on that, but BMW warranted that for me, so I didn't pay shit for it. So you could say I've had one problem with the S1000 saga, and that's between all 3 bikes, which is like 50,000 miles. And again, BMW covered it for me. I didn't have to pay anything. So I can't say the same thing for these new bikes. I'm hearing stories that like people are taking these bikes in under warranty, and they're still not warranting these parts that are going wrong. And it's unbelievable to me that you'd have a warranty and they're not going to warranty you things that are on a brand new bike. It is very true what they say. Newer does not mean better. I mean, they don't make bikes like they used to. That's for damn sure. Is that a Ferrari? Okay. Damn, that thing is clean. He waved at me. I passed the vibe check. Such a bougie area in Texas, bro. Oh man. it's just a hit or miss bike, you know. The V4s leak oil all the time. The V4s have problem with water pumps. The S1000s have water pump problems. The S1000s have throttle body problems. The ZX10s leak coolant all the time. It smells like coolant all over the motor when I see ZX10s all the time, even brand new ones, and even the ZX10rr smelled like coolant when I seen Fastlane D riding on it. Every bike has problems, which is unfortunate, you know, but you gotta think about when they're building bikes. When they're building bikes, it's like they're trying to pack as much horsepower and, like, you know, everything they can in this little machine. Like, of course things are gonna go wrong. I mean, these bikes do 200 miles per hour in the blink of an eye. Oh my god, the X6. Oh, I love X6s so much. But yeah, when you're packing all that shit in there, shit's gonna go wrong. So bikes have issues. I hate to break it to y'all. When you buy a bike, even if you're spending 18, 17, 30 G's, 40 G's, it's gonna have some problems, maybe. I don't know. You just don't know. A lot of people ask me all the time, like, you know, which bike they should get, and it's really a hard question to answer because everybody's different and likes different things. I could suggest somebody the R1, but they could be a little bit more of a tamed rider and kind of like the smoothness, but yet the power that the S1000 delivers. So it's different with everybody. You guys just need to get out there and test ride these bikes if you have the opportunities, and then really make your mind into something. Bro, what is going on? And basically make your mind up from there. So it is going to be very, very hard for me to get rid of this bike. I have worked my nuts off for this bike. This is my dream bike. It still is. So you already know what we got coming. It's crazy. But it's going to be hard to get rid of this one. In general, it's the red and black. It's my favorite spec S1000rr. You know, I waited until the red and black came across my path. So to go back to like the warranty stuff, I didn't even have a warranty on the first gen S1000, and again, they still warranted that part. So my dealing with BMW has been pretty good. I can't say for like the mechanic part, taking the bike in to BMW techs, that's been pretty fucking awful, I'm not gonna lie. But as far as dealing with BMW direct, they have been good to me. But like I said, I can't speak for everybody else. So the big thing with me and owning a bike is just being able to ride whenever I want. I don't want to have any issues from all the way down to starting up the bike. And like even on the R1s, their batteries are horrible. We go out for photo shoots sometimes with the homies that do have R1s, brand new R1s with brand new batteries, and they just leave the key on for the lights for the photos, and it's dead within like 5-10 minutes. I started up the older gen thousands of times. I've started up these S1Ks thousands of times. Never once have I ever had the bike not start on me. Never once have I had the bike die on me and I was stuck. I pretty much have had zero problems with the S1000s. That is why this is the best bike to me. That is why I keep buying S1000rrs. Like, I have all these opportunities to ride all these different bikes, and I know what they're like too, from stock to flash forward, because most of the time when I am riding these different bikes, it's on homies' bikes. It's all done up. I get to feel what these bikes are like in a state that I would put this bike in myself, and I still pick the S1K. And you can't call it bias, because my favorite bike again is the R1 to ride. My favorite aesthetic looking bike is the V4, which is like the two main things that you look at for a bike: the looks, how it performs, how it feels. And neither of those are the S1000 for me. So like, I'm not biased. It's just truly an amazing bike when you get a good one. That's all I can really say. And again, it just goes back to, you know, even if it is a great bike, it still might have problems. I mean, not everything's perfect. These bikes are built and designed by humans. Obviously they got robots machining the parts, whatever, but it's designed by humans. These things are designed by humans. We make errors. Shit happens, you know. Not every single bike is built and crafted to perfection, but if you do get that one, you will fall in love with an S1000. It's that simple. It's arguably one of the fastest. It's the smoothest. You can cruise it. It comes on the power insanely quick. That is a clean vet. Holy shit. As much as I have so much fun at riding all these different bikes, it feels like home coming back to the S1K. You can could argue the fact that it's smooth and like tamed, but if you know how to ride, you can have a lot of fun with this bike. It does not matter if it's smooth. If you're confident with all power levels of this bike, you can punch it wherever and have that snappiness. There's just something different about having a bike that starts up first try, every try. I don't have any of those issues. Like, I don't know what it feels like, and I don't want to know what it feels like. That's what K has been consistent to me, so I like consistency. Honestly, there's like so much I could talk about this bike because I've owned S1Ks for the last 4 years. I could go on for days about this bike. One thing I would say that sticks out to me that kind of sucks is having to take the bike to the dealer to clear the service code. Last time I took the bike into the dealer, I asked them if they could clear the service code, which was like the 6,000 mile service, which was just such a random bullshit for like $500. I was like, you guys just clear the code? And they're like, no, we can't do that. So the code is still in like my system information set up inside the dash on the bike. It still says like I have to do my 6,000 mile service. So you have to buy the GS911, which is like, it looks like a little USB chip, and you plug it into the back of the bike. It costs like $300, $400, reads codes for you and deletes codes for you. So, but like I said, my ownership has been good. I don't really have a lot to complain about with this bike. If I did, I would be getting so picky. And if I were to compare that to the other bikes, it still beats it in those aspects. Also, no, I didn't compare a lot of anything to the Triple RSP, but that's just because, you know, there's not a lot of people that own SPs. So I felt like it was a little bit more standard to compare it to the typical bikes that you see. How to get the little woolly out the system right there. Buster right here. Sun is going down, man, and it still feels so good out here in Texas. Not gonna lie to you, it feels insane to ride. We've had a little bit of snow here in Texas, which is kind of funny. It's not funny because I want to ride, but it is funny because I just left KC to get away from that, and felt like it just followed me. But the snow's gone. I'm leaving for Miami in a few days, and the weather's starting to warm back up a little bit out here in Texas. Watch this. See, that's that low end torque it just picks up. Picked up a gang of low end torque. Like the older gens, I used to never be able to punch it and do power wheelies from that low. But the more and more they go on these bikes, it's just crazy what they're doing to them, dude. The faster they get each time they make a new one, and I don't know why I came all the way over here. If somebody busts a Yui right here, I'm cooked. That's what I'm saying. People can call these things bland and like slow, but like, bro, you get on the bike and you're confident with it. They're so much fun. I also used to like only ever clutch up. I don't have to clutch up anymore because, you know, I'm on this bike. It's got more low end torque now. Like I keep saying, the R1s, I'd hop on them, I would never clutch them up. The RS-V4s, never clutch them up. I wouldn't need to. It's so powerful. Service overdue. See, it won't. This is what I'm saying. They won't clear my service code unless BMW does the fucking service. Well, we stopped real quick to take one more last look at the S1000 before we close out the video, but again, this won't be the last look. We're taking it down to Miami in a couple days.
and we're gonna have a ton of riding in Florida with the 23RR. You'll definitely know why I'm getting rid of this new bike when the new one comes, but until then, we're gonna keep it a surprise. That's pretty much gonna wrap up today's video of my opinion on the S1000rr, my ownership so far. I know we've only had this bike for a few thousand miles, but it's been great to me, and I've loved every single mile that we put on this bike. Definitely drop a comment, let me know what your guys' ownership experience is with your guys' bike. We got a gorgeous sunset with the RR, but who knows? Like I said, we only have a few thousand miles on the bike. Some things could come up. Hopefully not, especially not while we're in Miami. So we hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is absolutely insane. I really can't thank you guys enough. This journey has been insane, just crazy, and I have no plans on slowing down anytime soon. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my take on the S1K, on what I tried to be not so biased since I've had so many of these. I appreciate you guys tuning into the video as always, and I will see you guys very soon in the next upload. Peace.